What's up, good people? I'm just Major. You saw the title. You like the Marjorie. We're here to talk about it. Food dyes. They are everywhere. Not just in your foods, but in a lot of personal care products like body wash and shampoo. Let's go ahead and check it out, see what they're talking about. And the reason why food dyes is such a big business and why it's hard to get rid of.
Natural food dye companies are ramping up production after RFK Jr.'s call to eliminate artificial colors by the end of 2026.
Look at this. This red 40, yellow 5, this blue one, man, they are everywhere. Like some of your favorite chips and snacks, sodas, man, everywhere, as well as personal care products.
And more companies have.
Here we go, right here. Hershey's, Heinz ketchup, fruity pebbles. Fruity Pebbles was the thing back in the day when I was a kid eating cereal. I don't eat cereal at all now, really. But back in the day, Fruity Pebbles, Frosted Flakes, what? You can't even do it no more. If you do it, if you eat these foods in consumption with all these food dyes, just make sure you do it in moderation because they're linked to causing cancer or linked to cancer rather in lab animals. So, but yeah, just be careful with it.
Have announced that they're working towards that.
Slim Jim, mac and cheese, Butterfinger. Butterfinger got peanut butter cups? I can't stand Butterfinger. Chex Mix, man, everywhere.
Goal. But some food executives say an industry-wide transition could take more than 6 years. So we went inside one of the largest food color plants in the world to see why industry leaders say this transition will be so difficult. Sensient Technologies might not be a household name, but you probably have its products in your home. As one of the world's largest dye manufacturers, it's been in business for almost 150 years and has been producing natural colors for U.S. food and beverage companies for over 15 years.
How has business changed for Sensient since RFK Jr. took office and with the rise?
It certainly accelerated efforts around natural colors. Although interestingly enough, natural colors was very much the trend even before that announcement. The big change now is every product that's in the market that's not been newly released in the last number of years is going to need to convert.
So has your phone sort of been ringing off the hook with all these customers who are saying, we've got 2 years or we've got about a year to make this happen? Help us.
Yeah, the phones are ringing. Brands are very well in the hunt to get this thing right. And a lot of brands have been doing this for years. So it's not brand new to anybody per se. It's just the timing and the scale.
There are products with artificial dyes, confectionery, baking goods, juice, soda, snacks, cereals, packaged fruits, and veggies. Come on now. Dairy and eggs, frozen foods, meat and seafood. My heavens, it's everywhere.
Change the
RFK has made it clear that he would like for synthetic colors to be removed from the U.S. supply chain by the end of 2026. Is that feasible?
There's a lot of challenges. First and foremost, can you actually technically do it? Can you achieve the same color profile, the same vividness as the synthetic color? Can you do
Sensient says it has been investing in the technical side of natural dye production for years, creating formulas that can withstand changes to heat, light, and pH.
But concurrently, it's the supply chain that is probably going to be the single longest lead time item here, the single biggest bottleneck, if you will.
Natural dyes are derived from sources like plants, fruits, and vegetables.
These products are grown all. So these are not just raw materials grown in the United States, and few of them.
The raw materials arrive at the plant in the form of concentrates. They're blended into liquid or powder formulas and then sent to food companies to be added to their products. Sensient estimates it will need 10 times the amount of product it has now to meet demand. So challenge number 1 is finding the land, and ideally...
Man, butterfly pea flower, never heard of that. Anato, never heard of that. Black carrot, what does that look like? Is it actually black? Never heard of it. Of course, beets, turmeric, and spirulina, yeah, I've heard of it, even consume it to some extent. Well, the red beets to some extent, but turmeric and spirulina, yeah, I use it a lot in my foods and smoothies, but wow.
Land that isn't prone to natural disasters.
Several years ago, the flower crop was joined by Philippines. We had a situation 2 years ago in Turkey where we were searching black carrot. There was a major earthquake.
So the company started diversifying its crop locations, which also allowed it to maximize productivity by taking advantage of different growing seasons around the world. For example, red radish is usually planted in late summer to be grown in the fall. So by growing it in the US and Peru, which have different fall months, Sensient can harvest red radish twice a year instead of once.
It takes time to diversify, to do it, grow it safely and in accordance with the law, sustainable agricultural practices. It's all the complexity that goes into this timeline.
When procuring new land, Sensient says it also looks for areas with lower pesticide use to reduce the risk of contamination.
Where you have rice fields, where you have banana plantations, you're going to pesticide use. It's not necessarily the farmers are going to use those pesticides, but it's just to overspray. The drift, as we call it, from those fields will impact our farm.
This is not only important for the safety of the product, but also for keeping costs down. Sensient says if it finds heavy metals or pesticides in its raw materials, it has to reject the shipment. The company says on average, 1 out of about 4 raw materials fail to meet their safety standards. Synthetic colors are more closely regulated by the FDA. Natural colors don't currently have an FDA approval process, so Sensient created its own testing standard. Another hurdle has been finding the right growers for the job.
In some cases, they've been farming for years, and to try to change their protocol farming techniques is difficult because we're looking for the highest color pigmentation. The majority of them, if not all of them, they've been used to farming for just pure weight.
As Sensient and other companies work to build up capacity, more than a dozen states are considering legislation to ban synthetic food dyes.
There's got to be a lot of folks who are, now trying to see a future in natural dyes. What does the competition look like, and what are you going to do to beat them?
We've been working on this a long time. We've been investing for a long time. So somebody who may want to come to the game now, they would be at an inherent disadvantage. We play the long game, and I think we're going to be right. We could add a substantial amount of revenue to the business for this. And so this is an example to those who so like the game that
All right. Well, we're going to stop it right there. Like I said, food dyes, they are everywhere, not just in foods, but the exact same dyes. If you turn over these bottles and labels and look at them, they're the exact same ones in some of your personal care products. As a matter of fact, a lot of your personal care products. So just consume it in moderation. If you can, do a fast as often as you can. Intermediate fasting works, or I think what is at least 10, 12 hours. So not saying you have to be like me, but my wife and I, we do almost 12 hours every day. We don't even eat breakfast anymore, unless it's maybe a weekend where we do it every other weekend or something like that. That's going to be it for today, man. Y'all have a good one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Nah, holla at ya. 3 million subscribers. Loaded.